Another day, another story. France is a country renowned for its rich history, culture, and art. With numerous world-famous landmarks, picturesque countryside, and bustling cities, France is a top tourist destination that attracts millions of visitors every year. From the iconic Eiffel Tower to the historic Palace of Versailles, France offers something for everyone. Whether you're interested in art, architecture, history, gastronomy, or simply want to soak up the country's vibrant atmosphere, France is sure to leave you captivated. In this article, we'll explore the top 20 tourist attractions in France, each offering a unique glimpse into the country's rich cultural heritage and natural beauty. The Eiffel Tower is an iconic landmark and one of the most recognizable structures in the world. It was built for the 1889 World's Fair in Paris, France, to commemorate the centennial of the French Revolution and to demonstrate France's engineering and architectural prowess. The tower was designed by Gustave Eiffel, a French engineer, and his team of architects and engineers. Construction began in 1887 and was completed in just over 2 years, using over 18,000 pieces of wrought iron and 2.5 million rivets. The tower stands at a height of 324 meters, 1,063 feet, and was the tallest man-made structure in the world at the time of its construction. The Eiffel Tower was initially intended to be a temporary structure and was only meant to stand for 20 years. However, it was so popular with the public that it was allowed to remain standing after the World's Fair ended. In fact, the tower has become a symbol of France and a major tourist attraction, drawing millions of visitors each year. Over the years, the tower has undergone several renovations and upgrades, including the addition of a radio antenna in the early 20th century, which made it the world's tallest structure once again. During World War II, the Germans attempted to destroy the tower, but it was saved by French resistance fighters. Today, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world and remains an important symbol of France's engineering and architectural heritage. It is also an important site for scientific research and experimentation, hosting a variety of antennas and transmitters that serve various communication needs. The Louvre Museum is one of the most famous and prestigious art museums in the world. It is located in the heart of Paris, France, and houses an extensive collection of art and artifacts that span over 5,000 years of human history. The origins of the Louvre Museum date back to the late 12th century, when King Philip II of France began construction of a fortress to protect Paris from invading armies. Over the next several centuries, the fortress was expanded and renovated numerous times, eventually becoming the royal palace of the French monarchy. In the late 17th century, King Louis XIV decided to move his court to the Palace of Versailles, and the Louvre was no longer used as a royal residence. However, it was still considered an important cultural center, and in 1793, it was officially opened as a museum. Over the years, the Louvre's collection grew rapidly, thanks in part to the spoils of war and colonial conquests. Today, the museum's collection includes over 35,000 works of art, including paintings, sculptures, and decorative objects from around the world. Some of the most famous works in the Louvre's collection include the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, the Winged Victory of Samothrace, and the Venus de Milo. The museum's collection also includes a wide range of Egyptian, Greek, and Roman antiquities, as well as works by European masters such as Rembrandt, Rubens, and Vermeer. In recent years, the Louvre has undergone a number of significant renovations and expansions to accommodate its growing collection and increasing numbers of visitors. Today, the museum is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world, with millions of visitors every year. Overall, the Louvre Museum is an important cultural institution and a symbol of France's rich artistic and cultural heritage. Its collection of masterpieces and antiquities has inspired generations of artists and scholars, and continues to captivate visitors from around the world. Notre-Dame Cathedral is one of the most iconic landmarks in Paris, and one of the finest examples of Gothic architecture in the world. The cathedral is located on the Île de la Cité, a small island in the heart of Paris, and is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the city. The origins of Notre-Dame Cathedral date back to the 12th century, when Paris was a thriving medieval city. At the time, the Bishop of Paris, Maurice de Sully, decided to build a grand cathedral to serve as the religious center of the city. Construction began in 1163, and the cathedral was completed nearly 200 years later, in 1345. Over the centuries, Notre-Dame Cathedral has played an important role in the religious and cultural life of Paris. It has witnessed some of the most significant events in French history, including the coronation of Napoleon Bonaparte and the liberation of Paris during World War II. The cathedral has also undergone numerous renovations and restorations over the years, including a major restoration in the 19th century led by the architect Eugene Viollet-le-Duc. Viollet-le-Duc added several new features to the cathedral, including the iconic spire that was destroyed in the 2019 fire. In April 2019, a devastating fire broke out at Notre-Dame Cathedral, causing significant damage to the roof and spire. The fire was eventually brought under control, but not before causing extensive damage to the cathedral's interior and exterior. In the aftermath of the fire, a massive fundraising effort was launched to restore Notre-Dame Cathedral to its former glory. Today, the cathedral is undergoing a major restoration project, and is expected to reopen to the public in the coming years. Overall, Notre-Dame Cathedral is an important symbol of France's rich cultural and architectural heritage. Its grandeur and beauty have inspired generations of artists and writers, and it remains a cherished landmark for Parisians and visitors alike. The Palace of Versailles is one of the most grandiose and opulent royal residences in the world. It was built by King Louis XIV of France in the late 17th century and served as the seat of French political power until the French Revolution in 1789. The palace was originally a modest hunting lodge, but Louis XIV had grand plans for its expansion and renovation. He enlisted a team of architects, landscapers, and artists to transform the building into a palace worthy of the Sun King's splendor and power. Construction of the palace began in 1661 and continued for over 20 years. The palace was designed in the Baroque style, with ornate decorations and elaborate gardens that were intended to impress and awe visitors. Over the years, the Palace of Versailles became a symbol of the wealth and power of the French monarchy. It was home to numerous kings and queens, and was the site of many lavish parties, celebrations, and diplomatic events. During the French Revolution, the palace was abandoned and fell into disrepair. However, in the 19th century, it was restored and transformed into a museum dedicated to the history of France and the art of the Baroque period. Today, the Palace of Versailles is one of the most visited tourist attractions in France, drawing millions of visitors every year. Visitors can explore the palace's opulent halls and chambers, as well as its extensive gardens and grounds. Some of the most famous features of the Palace of Versailles include the Hall of Mirrors, a grand gallery with 357 mirrors that reflect the surrounding gardens, the King's Chamber, a lavish bedroom with a four-poster bed and gold-plated decorations, and the Grand Trianon, a smaller palace located on the palace grounds that was used as a retreat for the French royalty. Overall, the Palace of Versailles is an important symbol of France's rich cultural and political history. Its grandeur and opulence continue to fascinate and inspire visitors from around the world, and its legacy as a symbol of French power and influence remains intact to this day. Mont Saint-Michel is a small island located off the coast of Normandy in northwestern France. It is one of the most recognizable landmarks in the country, and is renowned for its stunning Gothic architecture, rich history, and unique natural setting. The origins of Mont Saint-Michel date back to the 8th century, when a small chapel was built on the island by a group of monks. Over the next several centuries, the island became an important religious and cultural center, and was transformed into a fortified monastery and pilgrimage site. In the 11th century, a massive abbey was built on the island, and the monastery became one of the most important centers of religious and intellectual life in Europe. The abbey was expanded and renovated over the years, and its Gothic architecture and intricate carvings continue to impress visitors to this day. Mont Saint-Michel was also an important military stronghold during the 100 Years' War, and was the site of many battles between the French and English armies. The island was eventually captured by the French in the mid-15th century, and was subsequently transformed into a prison during the French Revolution. In the 19th century, Mont Saint-Michel was restored and transformed into a major tourist attraction. Today, the island attracts millions of visitors each year, who come to explore its narrow, winding streets, climb to the top of the abbey, and admire its stunning views of the surrounding bay. In recent years, Mont Saint-Michel has faced a number of challenges, including overcrowding and environmental degradation. In response, the French government has implemented a number of measures to protect and preserve the island's unique natural and cultural heritage, including limiting visitor numbers and investing in conservation and restoration. Despite these challenges, Mont Saint-Michel remains one of the most important and beloved landmarks in France. Its stunning Gothic architecture, rich history, and unique natural setting continue to inspire and captivate visitors from around the world. Thanks for watching.